In this third module on effective behavior management on the school bus, we'll focus on keys to active supervision as a bus driver. Active supervision is one of the most effective strategies teachers employ to manage student behavior. The same can be said of bus drivers, but actions and responsibilities of a driver create some special challenges that we will discuss here. The term active supervision simply means that the responsible person, in our case the bus driver, is actively engaging in monitoring and environmental arrangements to increase the likelihood of student success. This includes driver behaviors such as creating proximity to maintain student success, using eye contact, and thoughtfully assigning student locations. To begin, let's consider the concept of proximity. In the classroom, proximity involves the teacher's movement throughout the room to be near to students who will require the most engagement, prompts, and feedback. Clearly, this will not be possible while the driver is driving. We understand. You're driving a large vehicle with your back turned toward a bunch of kids. Not an ideal situation, but there are a couple of things that drivers can still do to develop a type of proximity. First, because such movement is not possible for bus drivers, let's consider eye contact as the driver's version of proximity. Drivers should actively scan the entire bus and, to the extent possible, make frequent eye contact with students. Most of the time, this occurs via the driver's rearview mirror, but as safety permits, it can also happen with an occasional head swivel. Of course, even eye contact cannot occur uninterrupted, as a driver's first priority has to be driving the bus and attending to traffic. Simply put, when students are aware that the driver is actively looking and observing, there is less of a chance of misbehavior. As a second strategy, there are times when drivers can move about the bus and create a real proximity to students. These times are primarily before the bus leaves the school in the afternoon and when the bus is safely stopped. While every stop needn't include a stroll through the bus, you are on a schedule after all, occasional movement allows the driver to provide those additional prompts and reminders in a more direct and personal manner. Watch how this driver takes advantage of an opportunity to move through the bus.
That's what happened when I used to play like basketball and stuff. I'm around 7 or something. I would not.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Hi, Emma. How was your weekend?
Good.
Hey. You say you have to do what?
Go walk for the gym on the treadmill.
You do well. You do well. Yeah. Can I go on?
Oh, I look back so bad.
Note that this entire walk took far less than 1 minute, but it allowed the driver to positively engage students. The next component of active supervision is the thoughtful assignment of student locations. Put simply, this means assigning seats. While it's not essential that every driver assign seats, it's perfectly okay to do so if you believe that you can effectively prevent problems by doing so. Thinking back to the last module on engagement and relationships, assigning seats is effective to the extent that it results in students receiving more positive interaction with drivers and hearing positive feedback. When assigning seats, there are some important considerations. First, consider how to seat the most challenging students in a location where you would predict less chances of problem behavior. For example, if we can predict that a particular student is more likely to have misbehaviors if seated next to certain other students when near an open window or when in the very rear of the bus, these are the types of locations we would want to avoid when assigning this student's seat. Drivers also should consider assigning more challenging students to seats that are more easily viewed in a direct eye line for the driver. In addition, seating challenging students in locations that more easily allow for interactions with the driver can make sense if it allows the driver to have more positive engagement with the student or presents opportunities for more prompts and reminders. You'll recall these are components of effective instruction and effective engagement described in modules 1 and 2. The trick with assigning seats is in doing so in a way that does not seem punitive. If assigning seats is done as a consequence for misbehavior, then you can expect students to be more resistant, angry, and vocal. Instead, the driver should have an impersonal and non-punitive explanation. There are many legitimate reasons for assigning seats in addition to behavior management, and these should be used as the main rationale when explaining to students. Such legitimate rationale for the students include the need to have quicker seating on the bus, mixing it up so that all get to sit next to different people. You need to be able to see everyone, and some tall students block the view. All of these are reasonable and avoid unnecessary confrontations from students who perceive the assignments as a personal affront. There are two other strategies that fall under this category of active supervision. The first takes us back to our module discussion of engagement and relationships, and it involves finding special roles or jobs for selected students. It's not appropriate for every student. Many students do respond positively to being trusted or given responsibility of some sort. While giving students any authority to supervise or report on other students is not recommended, there are a number of simple jobs that can be used to create a trust between the student and the driver. These may involve asking a student to keep track of the bus stops, remind students of their stops, or even getting a count of stops. In reality, none of these tasks is likely important, but they do give the students something to think about during the ride and a sense of trust with the driver. The second strategy that can help with active supervision is implementing a points game with the students. We've previously discussed the benefits of positive acknowledgement, of positive student behavior, and the points game just formalizes this in a way to also create a focus for students during the ride. Using the points game, the driver creates a competition in which students receive points for engaging in positive behavior. This can be set up as a challenge for the entire bus to reach some criterion level of points. Most often, the points game is run on a timer schedule. For example, the driver may say that for every minute that goes by where all are seated or engaging in some other appropriate behavior, a point will be awarded. If the group reaches their goal, there is some agreed upon reward. The first worry that people have when considering a points game is how to afford daily rewards. But it's easy to run the game with no tangibles, where all rewards are simply an ability to be first to the bus stop the next day, the privilege of listening to a song the next day, or even the ability to change seats in the future. These are more natural than purchasing tangible items and will be easier to continue with. The key is making clear to all students what the behaviors of concern will be and how many points are necessary to earn the reward.
All right, last stop. Let's go. You all have a great day. Earned all your points. Let's figure out what song you all want to listen to tomorrow. Lil Uzi. Lil Uzi. Oh, okay. If you say so.
You might already have asked, how is the points game related to active supervision? The answer is, when the game is in process, the driver is carefully watching the students in order to determine whether points are warranted, and the students are acutely aware of the driver's observation. The points game itself creates more active supervision. In this module, we've discussed active supervision, and you can now add that skill to what you already know about teaching bus behavior and positively engaging students. The next two modules change to focus to responding to specific student misbehaviors, either as a large group or in smaller groups. Discuss what parts of active supervision you found to be most relevant to you and your driving experience. Think about specific challenges you deal with and discuss how these general considerations in active supervision might apply. Which of these strategies is most realistic for you, or how would you have to tweak it to make it work for you? You'll have opportunities for similar discussions related to some specific misbehaviors and challenges in later modules.